Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and in today's video we're going to take a look at a game that I had in the gearing, the Tier 10 American Destroyer. I'm divisioned up with my friends from APOC 3FM and Megadude 2. They're playing in the Monty and the Des Moines, the Tier 10 American battleship and heavy cruiser respectively, and we're playing some domination here on the map Atlantic. So before one of you asks in the comment section below, the reason why my voice sounds a bit different is that my normal microphone that I use for recording these replays died today. So I am forced to use my gaming headset, and the quality on it is okay. I definitely am going to try and see if I can get this any better. There is a built-in audio program with Magic's Movie Maker, which is what I use, that I am messing around with to try to make this sound a little bit more clear, so please bear with me. I don't have a timetable just yet of when I'm going to be able to order another microphone, but we're going to have to make do with my Sennheiser headset for the time being. So, what do you need to know about the gearing in World of Warships? Well, I featured this ship a couple of months ago in a really good match on the map Sea of Fortune. So, since that gameplay took place, my build has not changed on this ship, so I am neglecting to mention what I run with it here in the commentary. However, if you look below in the comments section, you're going to be able to find my captain skills and, of course, my equipment that I run on this thing. So the gearing compared to the Tier 9 Fletcher is a bit better of a gunboat that, well, I don't want to say it's a worse torpedo boat, because the torpedoes work a little bit differently in terms of their statistics, but they're not bad torpedoes. The gearing gets 16.5 kilometer torpedoes, which are honestly really effective at any range, to be honest with you, because they have good speed and they have pretty modest damage. So you can use them in close, you can use them at medium range targets, and then you can see this Iowa, who's almost 13 kilometers away. You're also able to use them against long range targets as well, which is really nice. So I'm going to dump my first salvo of torpedoes. You get 10 of them, 2 quintuple launchers, which is really nice. But of course, the main selling point of the gearing is not the torpedoes, it is the performance of the guns. The Fletcher has a 3.3 second base reload, which you can get down to 2.7 seconds with the right equipment. The gearing has a 3-second base reload, and not just that, you get your guns in turrets, so they're a bit more accurate, and also you get an extra one. You get 6 instead of 5, and with the right equipment, you can get that reload down to 2.4. So what this means is that there is no other destroyer in the game that has better potential damage per minute when you get in close. This thing will make Swiss cheese of every single other destroyer in the game that it can meet at the high tier in a one-on-one gunfight, and that's why the gearing is so much fun to play. And when you combine that with a really nice rudder shift time, it's a little worse than the Fletcher, but it's still American, it's still pretty good, and the nice smoke screens that you can lay, you can really get into a cap and ruin somebody's day. Really, the only counter to this ship is one of my torpedoes slams home into the Iowa, is a very well-played Z-52, which is able to utilize its good armor-piercing shells to hit you in the side of the hull and deal massive AP damage, but also use its hydroacoustic to keep you off of the caps. So you can see here at the beginning of the game, unfortunately, my buddy Megadude, after he used his radar to help kill the Benson, unfortunately ate a nice face full of Shimakaze torpedoes. So at this point, it's just myself and 3 left in the division, and at this point, we also have not been able to capture Objective Bravo because there's the Shimakaze, which is still somewhere on the cap, and there's also the enemy Ognavoy around here as well. So I was able to get a flooding on that Iowa with the 1 torpedo that hit, so of course I'm going to continue to shoot at this guy now as I come out of the smoke and do get detected and try to get a fire burning on him, so he will be bleeding hit points, which is obviously something that you really need to focus on. Whenever you get a ship that uses its damage con, that really should be the priority, which you should be shooting at. Now, the second part, you can see here the reload on the gearing torpedoes with my build is 1 minute and 43 seconds. That is with Torpedo Tubes Mod 3, which reduces your reload quite considerably, and also the Captain skill, which reduces your torpedo reload armament expertise, your reload as well. So it's a very nice combo to have here on the gearing, and 1 minute and 43 seconds is pretty decent. You can see here the enemy Ognavoy decides he wants to get in close for some reason. I have no idea why he's moving in towards me, and every 100 meters that he closes the distance just makes it all the more easy for me to land shells on target. Now, if you're wondering why I've slowed down, I only have a second. Now I'm using my smoke, so I'm going to be able to utilize it now to hide from this Ognavoy, not take potentially return fire from him that is going to be accurate, and at the same time, since he's shot and his gun bloom is going to be rather large. I'm going to be able to shoot him from the safety of my smoke screen. Now you can see that Shimakaze is blind firing into my smoke. It's a very good play for him to make. The Ognovoy realizes his only chance is to get really close to me and potentially spot me and maybe drop his torpedoes in here, but it doesn't really matter. At least some of his torpedoes are coming in, and once more I notice them, I back up, and my guns are able to gun down that Tier 8 Soviet destroyer, and I pick up my second kill of the game, up to 56,000 points of damage, and now I'm going to be able to get some cap resets here on the Shimakaze and force that guy away, so then I should be able to take care of the cap. And he does indeed go undetected, but that is a-okay. As I do set a fire on him as well, his torpedo salvo is coming in on my position, so I do have to speed up a little bit and get out of my smoke screen. And I was also able to get a fire and some shots there on the enemy Grosse Kurfurst. So at this point, I got 43 seconds left until I'm able to successfully solo cap Objective Bravo. You can see that my team was able to storm their way down through Objective Alpha. It's 451 to 165. The enemy team has lost 4 ships while we've only lost 2. And at this point, I get ready for my next torpedo salvo here on the Currywurst. Now, when you're shooting torpedoes at a target that's moving away and is not moving as fast as possible, you really do want to aim quite a bit ahead. And at this point, you can see it looks like the Currywurst is moving slightly to his left, so it doesn't appear that those torpedoes are going to reach. But when you're leading a target that is running away, you really do need to give a bit exaggerated. You need to get a bit exaggerated. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. When you're aiming your torpedoes that far ahead, you do have to aim quite a bit ahead of the target to be able to hit them. But this example that you're seeing here with the torpedoes is something that a Fletcher would not be able to do. That Currywurst was already 10 kilometers away from me when I dropped my torpedoes, and like I said earlier, at least I think, the Fletcher only has 10.5 kilometer torpedoes. So in that case, those would not have been able to catch up to that Currywurst, but because you have 16.5 kilometers with the gearing and pretty decent detection as well, you can see here that the Currywurst wanted to shoot at the ships that were behind me trailing him, but unfortunately for him, he is going to run into these torpedoes. You can see 2 of them hitting right in the middle and at the front part of the ship, and then 2 more torpedoes slam home. A pretty decent amount of damage dealt, about 24,000. Again, these torpedoes don't do as much damage as Fletcher torpedoes, but it's that nice range buff that really makes them useful. So at this point, my damage has spiked up to 118,000 points of damage, which is really nice. If I were to die right now, this would be a fantastic game, but there is still plenty more of clubbing that needs to be done. And if you haven't noticed, while the time that those torpedoes took to get to the target, my tubes are all ready to go once again. Now, in this situation, a Fletcher would be a little bit better because of the higher damage output, as I'm only 6.5 kilometers away from him, but that is a-okay. Like I said, even at short range, these torpedoes are still able to do fine due to their pretty decent speed. Now you can see here that he is more or less still on a straight path, and it's very confusing to me because that thing has hydroacoustic, and while I don't know if he's using it right now, there's no reason to drive in a straight line for more than, I'd say, 10 seconds when you're in battle. You really do need to make those slight course corrections to be able to get out of the way. But at this point, I realize that he uses damage con, so I'm going to try to get some fires burning on him, and you can see this reload right here with my captain. It's a 2.7 second reload. I don't have the 2.4 because I choose to go with AA Guns Mod 2 for the second slot, which of course extends the AA range out, at least on this thing, to 7.2, which is really, really nice. 1 torpedo slams home into the rear of the Currywurst. The second one hits right on the very back portion. He overturns, and then the last torpedo slams home into the bow of that Tier 10 German battleship, and I managed to pick up my 3rd kill of the game. And this is the reason why these torpedoes can sometimes hook you up with some very unexpected results. That Des Moines that was coming out, I guess you didn't realize that there was a gearing somewhere in Bravo, and these torpedoes have plenty of range to get to him. 1 torpedo hits at the rear, 1 hits at the bow. I pick up the Confederate to boot, along with the high caliber. And yeah, my 4th confirmed kill, 177,000 points of damage dealt. And right there, that was probably the most perfect example of why these gearing torpedoes are, in certain situations, better than the Fletcher. On a case-by-case basis, they can be better. Now, if you're asking for my opinion on which one is better when you measure it around and take every situation, well, it's nice on the Fletcher to have the faster reload, and that's why, honestly, some people don't even bother to go for the gearing, because this thing is a little bit bigger, it does have a worse detection range, and it's not as maneuverable, while it doesn't have as fast of a torpedo reload, but that's a-okay. So now we're going to get some shots here into the enemy gearing. I force him to smoke up, which is really nice, and also get a few hits on him, 10 to be exact as well. However, at this point, I kind of make a potato play. I really should have turned my AA off, but for some reason, I decided to keep it on. If I would have turned the AA off, I would not have been hitting those enemy fighters and been detected. You can see I do go undetected, but unfortunately, the gearing manages to get 2 nice salvos off on me. It's dealing almost 5k damage right there, so an unnecessary loss of hit points, and something that's going to bite my butt here in a couple of minutes. Now, at this point, I'm still detected by the planes. I realize there's no reason for me to sit here because not only am I continued to be spotted, by the planes, but also the enemy gearing is continuing to shoot shells, lob them over the island, and you can see that he is hitting me, so I do have to move forward into the path of the enemy Bismarck, but that is a-okay because he's on very low hit points. My next salvo goes in, and I managed to pick up Kraken Unleashed for my 5th kill of the game, but if you didn't notice on the minimap, you can see that I'm straying right into a smoke screen where there's an enemy Shimakaze, and there we go, he appears at 3.3 kilometers away, so now my guns are going to get working here. You can also see that the enemy carrier is bringing in his planes, so we are about to get into a very sticky situation indeed. I'm getting more salvos there at the shimmy. The second Shimakaze appears. You can see the torpedo planes are coming in on my position. He's also trying to use his dive bombers. I managed to dodge the dive bomber attack and pick up my 6th kill of the game. Also going in between his torpedo salvos. You can see the next set of dive bombers miss. His next set of torpedo planes is coming in on me. I'm also using my smoke screen to try to shield myself. I'm getting some blind shots into the Shimakaze's position. I managed to pick up my 7th kill of the game, trying to dodge even more torpedoes coming from the left. I'm also able to do that as well. At this point, I'm honestly panicking a little bit when I still got 10 seconds left for my smoke, and for some reason, I am deciding not to slow down, and I could easily get inside the smoke screen right now if I were to stop. And then the gearing manages to shoot at me as well, so will I be able to get kill number 8? I continue to burn. I do finally use my damage control. I'm only on 815 hit points, and the next salvo goes in on the gearing. I'm chucking him down, but unfortunately, his last one was good enough and manages to take care of me. However, he's only on 1,500 hit points, make that 424. And right here at the end of the game, the Shimakaze is going to be able to take care of business. And with that being said, we're going to take a look at the post-battle results. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. 815,000 credits received and 5.6k total EXP. This was not my first win of the day. I managed to pick up Confederate, Kraken, First Blood, and High Caliber, dealing 204,000 points of damage, my highest to date in the gearing, off of 223 shell hits and 10 torpedoes. I shot down 5 enemy planes, sent 7 ships to the bottom of the sea, managed 5 base defense ribbons, and had 1 assisted base capture. Taking a look at the team score, 3,604 base EXP. This is not only my highest base EXP game that I've ever had, but also my total experience that I earned, 5,400 and something, without modifications, is also a record for me as well. I'd like to make a shout out to Neltak from the Impact clan, who had a pretty decent game himself, finishing in 3rd place. Those guys have joined the Supremacy League tournament, which will be kicking off here in a couple of weeks. They're trying out to place, so those guys, pretty good clan, and it was nice to be able to talk to him during this game and then afterwards as well. Some very nice teamwork in there. And then, of course, my buddy 3FM and Mega Dude. Not the best game for them, but they still managed to shoot down 25 enemy planes and had a decent base EXP total. Taking a look now at the detailed report, 77,000 points of damage dealt with the guns and a further 21,000 other, with 12k being fires and 8k being flooding, and then a further 105,000 damage dealt with the torpedoes. So with the Fletcher, again, would have dealt more damage off of 10 torpedo hits, but still over 100k in torpedo damage is nothing to scoff at. And I also managed 756,000 potential damage, which is pretty decent in and of itself. So with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this replay. Please consider giving the video a like, commenting on it, or possibly subscribing to the channel. All of it is very much appreciated. And with that being said, this is the Sneaky Snake for Brothers in Arms World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, as always, have a great day.